What you are about to watch is the greatest franchise series of all time. This is something I don't believe has ever been done for an NHL video game. Welcome to Wheel of Franchise. So basically what we do is at the beginning of every season, I'm going to spin a wheel, and whatever challenge it lands on, we have to complete said challenge for that season. So there's about 40 some options on this wheel, I can't remember, but we're going to be landing on accepting all trades. So honestly, this is a great one to start with because Arizona has absolutely no assets. So who really wants anyone on this team? So I went ahead and updated the trade block, including a first round pick from Colorado, adding Phil Kessel and Clayton Keller to it. I'm going to sign Josh Ho-Sang for $750,000 for 1 year, Mulligan for $750,000 for 1 year, and Luke Green for $750,000 for 1 year. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate to the beginning of the season, and once all those guys sign to the team and all the trades have gone through, then we'll see what our team's looking like. So on the very same day, I'm going to be sending Clayton Keller a third and a fourth to Columbus for a second and a third. That's tough, that's real tough. So looking at this team, we're terrible. That should be no surprise, and we're accepting the tank. We're going for that first overall pick, and we're getting SHAN right. But I do want to make a few extensions before we get into the season. So Lawson Krause, $1.6 million per year for 3 years, Christian Fischer, $1.45 million per year for 2 years, and Capobianco, $1 million per year for 2 years. I probably pronounced that wrong. Who cares? We're going to roll with it. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate 10 games into the season and hope this team loses all 10. 10 games into the season, this team's looking way too good. We're 3-6-1. That's not what I want. So I'm going to simulate to the 25 game mark, and then we'll get a better idea of what this team's looking like, because we could have just came out with a hot start. And yeah, I'm considering a hot start, 3-6-1. But before we get any further into this video, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. I'm going to be uploading a lot of videos similar to this, so if you enjoy this type of content, make sure you subscribe so you can be notified of when I upload. So the next 15 were much better. We went 4-8-3, so through 25 games, we have a 7-14-4 record. That's what I like to see. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate to the 50 game mark, and then we'll see how all of our guys are performing. So we would have 2 trades in this time span, which would involve Shane Gostisbehere and a third going to LA for Philip Deneau, a third and a sixth. And then we would have another trade with LA, sending Phil Kessel and a third to LA for Shane Gostisbehere and a fourth. So I guess Gostisbehere's back now. So through 50 games, this team's looking fantastic. An 18-24-8 record. That's what I was hoping for. The only problem is we're 6th in our division. We got to be dead last. That's what we're going for. And we're 29th in the entire league. So that means there's 3 teams worse than us? Yeah, unacceptable. Currently leading the team is SCHMALTZ with 16 goals, 23 assists, and 39 points. Josh Ho-Sang's coming in second with 11 goals and 20 assists for 31 points. And Philip Deneau is going to round out the top 3 with 9 goals and 21 helpers for 30 points. Jacob Chikrin's leading the defense in points with 9 goals and 12 assists for 21 points. And Carter Hutton's going to lead the team in wins with 15. He had a .904 save percentage and a .315 goals against. Ideally, I want you to play worse than this. I want that first overall pick incredibly bad. I can't emphasize that enough. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate to the end of the year. So you might be wondering, why aren't I simulating to the trade deadline? What assets do we have to trade? We have nothing on this team. So at the end of the year, we're finishing with a 31-41-10 record, which is good enough for 7th in the division and 29th in the entire league. 3 teams still did worse than us. Don't really know how that's possible. SCHMALTZ is still leading the team in points with 23 goals and 33 assists for 56 points. Josh Ho-Sang's coming in second with 11 goals and 30 helpers for 48 points. And Philip Deneau is going to round out the top 3 with 16 goals and 32 helpers for 48 points. Jacob Chikrin's leading the defense with 14 goals and 25 helpers for 39 points, and Carter Hutton's picking up 27 wins with a .905 save percentage and a .315 goals against. Austin Matthews is going to lead the entire league in points with 55 goals and 50 assists for 105 points. Mitch Marner's coming in second with 30 goals and 68 assists for 98 points. And Nathan MacKinnon's going to round out the top 3 with 47 goals and 50 assists for 97 points. Leading all defensemen is Erik Karlsson, who's on the Anaheim Ducks now with 16 goals and 61 helpers for 77 points. Robin Lehner's going to lead all goaltenders in wins with 41 while having a .921 save percentage and a .245 goals against. Now normally I would go through every single game so we see how this team performs, but we couldn't make the playoffs, so Philly's winning the cup over Chicago in 6 games. This is probably the most unlikely outcome. How did Philly make the cup final and how did Chicago make it there? This game's so realistic. So when the draft lottery results came around, we definitely weren't favored. We dropped from 4 to 5. So I guess we aren't getting SHAN right because he's definitely not going to drop to the 5th overall pick. But he will drop to 2, and I can trade for the 2nd overall pick. So I'm going to trade the 5th overall pick and 2 seconds to get the 2nd overall pick, also known as SHAN Wright. Columbus is accepting the deal, and SHAN Wright's ours. I also got another great prospect prospect in the 4th round that's a medium elite potential. Outside of SHAN and the other elite prospect, there was no one notable in this draft for us. So obviously, I'm going to go ahead and sign all the important prospects. We don't need to see me do every single player. So now it's time to make some extensions. Josh Ho-Sang, he was great for us. $3 million per year for 3 years. Lyubushkin's getting $1 million per year for 2 years. I definitely said that wrong, but we're going to run with it. And Hayton's getting $1 million per year for 1 year. In free agency, we made a bunch of signings, which involved Darcy Kemper for $5.4 million per year for 4 years, Philly Husso for $1.6 million per year for 1 year, Justin Braun $1.9 million per year for 1 year, Evgeny Malkin $7.6 million per year for 1 year. The idea with Malkin is to eventually trade him because he's going to have a lot of trade value, so we'll be able to get something for him. Dustin Brown $4 million per year for 2 years, Andrew Kopp's getting $5.3 million per year for 6 years, Matt Japani's going to get $5.4 million per year for 5 years, Keith Yandle's getting $4.5 million per year for 1 year, Paul Stastny's getting $2.7 million per year for 2 years, Evan Rodriguez is going to get $2.8 million per year for 1 year, Joe Pavelski's getting $6.3 million per year for 1 year, and Eric Comrie's going to get $1.5 million per year for 2 years. Yeah, that was a lot. And with free agency coming to an end, that's going to end episode 1, and I want you guys to comment down below what kind of challenges do you want to see me add to the wheel.